Thank you, Senator Durbin.
Thanks, Chairman Grassley. Ms. Stephan, thanks for what you do, and thanks for endorsing this bill. It sounds like a good one, but it is an expansion of the federal enforcement, is it not? It would not apply to your jurisdiction, correct?
Well, it actually is, and I think an expansion. If the task force, I read it a few times, puts together this fusion center, like a law enforcement coordination center, then that information is supposed to feed to the locals and all the way up. So I view it as like the other task forces on fentanyl, where we work with DEA, like that it's going to bring that fusion together to assist locals as well.
But the leadership under this legislation is federal, correct?
Absolutely, yes.
That's the point I want to make. And the reason I'm making that point is going back to what I said in my opening statement. The investigations of these crimes at the federal level depends on the Department of Homeland Security, does it not?
That's what I read, yes, sir.
That's the way I understand it as well. In February, the Department of Homeland Security in Washington ordered its entire investigations division, composed of 6,000 agents, to divert focus on drug dealers, terrorists, and human traffickers, and shift priority to the Trump administration's mission of deporting people in the United States who are in the United States illegally. The new focus for the DHS Homeland Security Agency, current and former officials say, is in keeping with the president's executive orders that demand a wholesale shift in federal law enforcement resources toward immigration crackdowns and removal. But they warn the shift will undermine high-profile investigations into some of the most dangerous transnational threats Americans face, including Mexican drug cartels smuggling deadly fentanyl across the border from Mexico. Chris Campanelli, former HSI supervisory agent, said, "A lot of my colleagues were afraid this was going to happen. This is going to be a total train wreck." So let's put the cards on the table. Yes, if anyone is involved in illegally being in the United States, undocumented or otherwise, and is engaged in criminal activity that is dangerous to themselves and others, they should be removed, period, prosecuted, period, or never let in the first place, period. But what about those who are living here, who've been here for years, working a job, showing up every day, raising a family, which is mainly American citizens, and paying their taxes? Is that a priority over what we're discussing today? Not in my book. As far as I'm concerned, we should go after, with limited law enforcement resources at the federal level, the most dangerous and threatening situations imaginable. I've described a few of them, where the subject of this hearing is another one, and retail theft. I don't doubt for a second that what has been described to us today is part of a much bigger network, even reaching into drug syndication. But to say we're worried about whether someone who is cutting grass on a golf course today is undocumented, and we ought to put the resources of the federal government into putting them in a detention facility and deporting them, I don't think that's as high a priority as the subject of this hearing today. Ms. Stephan, let me ask you about criminal forfeiture. Can you describe, or in the most general terms, this is not a quiz or a bar exam, why criminal forfeiture being added to this bill is important?
Because all of crime, this works on greed and on money. So being effective means you have to forfeit, you have to take away the things that they stole. It's absolutely important because that's what they rely on, which is profit.
I'm asking you to get down to a little lower level in your primary education course here on what criminal forfeiture is.
Criminal forfeiture is where you take monies from bad doers, wrongdoers, because they've committed a crime, and you're able to take cars, their homes, exactly,
right.
Anything that is related to their criminal activity.
And there's an expansion of that in this new bill, as I understand it. Is that where you see it as well? Criminal forfeiture?
I saw criminal forfeiture. I didn't see that it expanded beyond what is normally allowed, which is a nexus between the crime and the activity. But I can go back and study it, Senator.
I should do the same thing. I'm not being critical of the bill or of your analysis of it.
Right.
But I'm saying that the notion, if we're dealing with some network and you find the kingpins, that their personal possessions could be on the table as well if they're found guilty. Is that correct?
That's right.
Right, I'm all
But,
for it.
yes.
That sounds good. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, before I call on Cornyn, I think this speaks a little bit to what you were just talking about. Congress and state legislatures have authorized the use of asset disgorgement for more than 200 years. This legislation simply permits criminal asset disgorgement